Capturing breathtaking landscape photos becomes so much easier once you learn lighting. You can capture photos that are more vibrant, colorful, and breathtaking to your viewers. And after being a landscape photographer for the past 8 years, I wish someone had taught me this when I first started. But there's a problem. Lighting for landscape photography isn't the same as lighting for other forms of photography. Lighting in any form of photography is one of the most important elements of what makes a great photo. And controlling lighting allows you to put a spotlight on your main subject matter to make it look stunning. And in my head, it's very simple. Great lighting helps you create great photos. Just take portraiture for an example. With portraits, you can use flashes to create different vibes, looks, and aesthetic appeal. Flashes are a great way to take control of your light to frame your subject in whatever way you want. You can set how powerful you want the flash to be, what angle you want the flash at, or how close the flash is to your subject, which will affect how the photos turn out. But landscape photography is a little bit of a different story because you might get little to no control over your lighting. How come, you might ask? It's because lighting for landscapes have 3 different factors, each with their own varying degrees of controllability: the location, weather, and time of day. Weather is one of the more major components of lighting, especially when it comes to landscape photography, but it's also the most uncontrollable out of the 3. So tell me if this sounds familiar. Does the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil cause a tornado in Texas? This might sound ridiculous, but it might not be that far off from the truth, since this is based on the idea of the chaos theory, where small changes can lead to a chain reaction that causes bigger changes to occur. And because weather patterns are so difficult to predict even a couple hours in advance, it's tough to know exactly what kind of weather you're going to get on any given day. It's the difference between getting a crystal clear, beautiful sky or the most overcast, depressing beach you've ever gone to in your life. And even if you try your best to plan around the weather, chances are you'll show up to your location not knowing what to expect. Location is an interesting one, because it directly affects the weather patterns, as weather can be affected by the climate of the region. For example, shooting by the ocean and by the mountains at sunset will give you completely different looks and vibes when it comes to how the light will look because of the weather. And as someone who shoots in both of these places a lot, it's a struggle to move between them, since that lighting and color change is so drastic. Of course, you can control what location you're going to, but you can't control how that weather at the location looks like. And then we get to the time of day. And to me, this is the area that I like to focus on the most because I have the most control over this element of lighting. We can control exactly when we get to the location, what time we leave, and even how long we stay. And shooting at the right time of day can make a huge difference when it comes to how the landscape will look when it comes to lighting. You see, shooting a landscape at a location in the middle of the day may be convenient, but it most likely won't get you the best photo, as the lighting tends to look harsh with mundane colors. However, if we shoot at sunset and sunrise, then we have a much better chance of getting soft light with vibrant colors, since the sun's positioning in the sky can directly affect those components in particular. And this aspect of lighting is what I want to focus on the most today, because in order to capture the right lighting, there's a few factors that we need to understand. The first one being when sunset and sunrise are. In my weather app, it tells me exactly when that will be, so I can gauge how much time I have. It's also important to get to your location early. There's been a handful of times where I don't get to my location early enough and I find myself rushing to capture the photos. So don't be like me. Make sure to get to your location at least an hour and a half before the sun rises or sets. And once I'm there, I will find my composition and set it up in anticipation for the sunrise or sunset. I know it's really tempting to change the composition once you captured it and find other compositions to capture, but in my experience, I'd rather come out with one amazing portfolio-worthy photo than a couple of okay photos. And by changing locations multiple times, you're going to miss out on the amazing lighting, as the light will change a lot throughout the sunrise or sunset. So stick to the process and just focus on taking this one photo, especially when starting out. You'll come out with better photos. But once you find that perfect composition, it's time to start shooting. And if we're shooting at sunrise, I'd recommend shooting from the start of golden hour through sunrise and about 10 minutes past the sunrise. Whereas at sunset, shoot at the start of golden hour through about 10 minutes after the sun sets. By doing this, you'll capture all the changing light throughout the time frame and will give you a plethora of different options to work with when it comes to picking out the best frame in post-production. So let's do just that. Honestly, getting to the location before sunset or sunrise isn't really the hard part. It just takes a little bit of pre-planning. But the most difficult part about all this is the uncontrollables, like the weather and location in particular. It's especially hard to predict the weather, but it'll have a massive effect on how your photos look. But sometimes all you can do is focus on what you can control and trying your best to influence the uncontrollables. Which is why I go out and shoot a lot. I want to give myself the best chance to be able to capture the most amazing landscape photography possible. So try this out and let me know how it goes down in the comment section down below. Anyways guys, thank you so much for experiencing the world with me today. And if you want to check out more of my content, make sure to click here.